first grade. Today I am going to read a book to you called The Cupcake Thief. The Cupcake Thief by Ellen Jackson. Illustrated by Blanche Sims. This is a fiction book. However, it is realistic fiction, which means that the things that happen in this book could really happen. Who took my cupcake? Zach's eyes darted around the room, looking for someone to blame. Did you leave it at home? Asked Miss Baker. Nope, said Zach. I put it in my desk right before we acted out Jack and the Beanstalk, and it didn't just walk off. Well, I don't have it, said Brian. Me neither, said Marcy. You've heard of some nose for news? Said Aaron. Well, I've got a sniffer for sweets. Hold out your hands, everyone. Erin sniffed her way up and down the rows. Then she pointed to Tyler. Aha! Said Erin. I smell chocolate. What? Tyler said. Erin, you're my friend. You know I don't even like chocolate. Brian reached into Tyler's desk and pulled out a cupcake with chocolate sprinkles. Uh-oh, said Tyler. He looked as jumpy as a flea on a hot plate. Over here there is a caption. It says, all through history, people have had to decide who is telling the truth. It's not easy. That's one reason that we have courts. You cupcake napper, shrieked Zach. That's enough, said Mrs. Baker. There's only one fair way to handle this matter. Student court. Zach and Tyler report to room 6 at noon. You're busted, Zach told Tyler. You'll have to pick up trash on the playground. That's usually what the punishment is. But I'm innocent, said Tyler. Yeah, sure, said Zach. Tell it to the judge. Just before noon, Tyler trudged towards room 6. He looked lower than an earthworm's belly button. Do you mind if I tag along? Asked Aaron. Maybe I can help. Tyler shrugged. Anything to keep me from getting trash duty. So he's thinking about picking up the dirty trash. Courts were set up a long time ago to deal with crimes and to settle arguments in a fair way. In some schools, a student who breaks a rule must go to student court. So that's where they're going now, student court. Let's see what happens. Tyler and Aaron walked into room 6. Zach was already there, talking to a 6th grader named Leo. Hi, Tyler, said a girl with a friendly smile. I'm Jen, your lawyer. I'll be arguing your case before the judge. What's your side of the story? I don't know, said Tyler, but I didn't take Zach's cupcake. Jen looked deep into Tyler's eyes. I believe you, she said. I'm a friend of Tyler's, said Aaron. I believe him too, and I'd like to help. Then you can be a witness, Jen said, but right now I need to ask Tyler some questions. So a lawyer is a person who helps people with the law. In America, everyone who is accused of a crime can have a lawyer, even if they can't pay for one. So Jen is going to be Zach's lawyer. No, Jen is going to be Tyler's lawyer. Zach is the one who got the cupcake stolen. And a witness tells what they have seen or what they know about what happened. Sometimes a witness just talks about what the person on trial is like. Each side can call witnesses. So his friend, Aaron, is going to be his witness. A few minutes later, some kids sat down by a sign that said jury. The judge banged his gavel. The court will come to order, he said. Tyler, you are accused of taking Zach's cupcake. Zach and his lawyer, Leo, will tell you about Zach's side of the story. Then you will have your turn. The jury will decide if you're guilty. Tyler looked sadder than a bowl of wilted spinach. Zach's lawyer will now call the first witness, said the judge. So they have rules up in the courtroom. So this says the jurors don't make up your mind until you hear all the facts. And remember, be sure before you say someone is guilty. These are all the people in the jury. A judge is the person who makes sure that the trial is fair and the law is enforced. So here's the judge. And he banged his gavel. And then the jury decides whether someone has done it or if they did do it. They're innocent. I call Zach, said Leo. Raise your right hand, the judge told Zach. Do you promise to tell the whole truth? Yep, Zach said. He parked himself in a witness seat and faced the jury. When did you first notice that your cupcake was missing? Asked Leo. Just before noon, said Zach. I reached into my desk and it was gone. Zach told the jury how Aaron had helped find the cupcake. Then he pointed at Tyler. He took my cupcake and hid it in his desk. Look at those shifty eyes. Doesn't he look like a criminal? The jury nodded as if they agreed. I object, said Jen. That's not fair. The judge frowned. Stick to the facts, Zach. Then it was Jen's turn to question Zach. Did you see Tyler take the cupcake? She asked. Well, no, said Zach. And you got it back, didn't you? She asked. Zach made a face. Yes, but he had finger marks on it. Who wants a used cupcake? It probably had cooties. May we see the cupcake? Jen asked Zach. I ate it, he said. The jury gasped. You ate the evidence? Asked the judge. I thought you didn't want a used cupcake. Zach shrugged. I was hungry. Sheesh, muttered a juror. Do you have any more questions for Zach? Asked the judge. Jen shook her head. Our side rests, said Leo. That means it is Jen's turn to give the evidence. I know that, said Jen. I'll call Aaron. Aaron promised to tell the truth and sat down. I've known Tyler since kindergarten, she said. He's never stolen anything, and I don't believe he took the cupcake. Tyler doesn't even like sweets. Last Halloween, he gave all his candy to me. Jen smiled. Your turn, she said to Leo. No questions, Leo grumbled. It's clear that Aaron thinks that Tyler is a great guy. I call Tyler, said Jen. Tyler said he'd tell the truth and took a seat. His face was as long as a snake's suspenders. Tyler, said Jen, did you bring your lunch to school today? Yes, said Tyler. I brought a tuna sandwich, but I ate it at morning recess. I was hungry. Zach stood up. Sounds fishy to me. He laughed at his own joke. Order in the court, said the judge. Tyler, would you mind letting the jury smell your breath? Asked Jen. Ugh, said one of the jurors. Tyler walked to the roped-off area and opened his mouth. That's tuna fish, all right, said another juror. You smell just like my cat. Do you have any questions for Tyler? Jen asked Leo. Just one, Leo said. Why tuna? You look like a peanut butter and jelly kid to me. Jen rolled her eyes. I call Zach. Zach plopped down and waved to the jury. How big was your cupcake, Zach? Asked Jen. Ginormous, said Zach with a smile. And how big is Tyler? Asked Jen. About the size of pond scum, Zach smirked. He's the smallest kid in the class. I see, said Jen. Not the kind of kid who will want a ginormous cupcake after eating a tuna sandwich. Zach shrugged. I have another question, Jen continued. What was the class doing right before you noticed your cupcake was missing? A math lesson, said Zach. I think. And before that? asked Jen. Zach looked as confused as a baby learning algebra. Oh my gosh! Erin jumped up and waved her hands. Tyler didn't do it, she yelled. He's innocent. Everyone began talking at once. Order! Order in the court, said the judge. But I just remembered, said Erin. Right after recess, the class acted out Jack and the Beanstalk. Zach played the giant, and Tyler was the goose that lays the golden egg. We pushed all the desks to the right side of the room, and... Erin's right, shouted Tyler. He turned to the judge. Can the jury visit the scene of the crime? Everybody followed Tyler to room 3. We were laughing so hard after the play, Tyler said. I think we each grabbed the wrong desk. I took Zach's and he took mine's. It was one big mistake. Tyler reached inside the desk that he'd been sitting at. He pulled out a comic book, a banana peel, and a dirty sock. Look, Zach, he said. Isn't that your sock? It's too big for me. And here's my stink bug, said Zach. I wondered where it went. So he didn't steal his cupcake. They just had the wrong desks. But Tyler, why did I smell chocolate on your fingers? Said Erin. When I reached in the desk for my math book, I must have touched some sprinkles, he said. Yep, there's one under your nail, said Erin. The jury whispered together in the corner. Then one juror said in a loud voice, We find Tyler not guilty. Case dismissed, said the judge. Well, that's that, Zach said to Tyler. Too bad about the little mix-up. Zach, said Mrs. Baker, did you bring another stink bug to school? That's the 3rd time this month. She crossed her arms. Uh-oh, said Zach. I think I'm busted. And he was. So he had to write lines on the chalkboard. It says, I will not bring stink bugs to school. He had to write it a lot of times. I guess he didn't want to eat the evidence this time. I wonder what stink bug breath smells like. And that's the end. So here are some questions that you can answer at home with your families. On page 6, what does Tyler say? On page 7, where is he going? How does this show that he respects the school rules? On pages 12, 16, and 18, what do Zach, Erin, and Tyler promise to do? Explain why it is important to respect this rule. On page 30, why is Miss Baker angry? What does she say that shows Zach knew the rules? Look at these pictures down here. These are some kids that are breaking some rules. So picture 1, I can see a kid and she's dropping something on the floor, maybe trash. Number 2, I see a kid, looks like she has a cell phone and not supposed to have cell phones at school. Number 3, looks like a kid is being disrespectful and saying, no, I won't, to the teacher. So look at these 3 choices and what do you think should be their punishment? So I see a cell phone going into the cell phone jail, detention, and trash duty. Who should get which punishment? Alright, first grade, hope you liked that book. It was called The Cupcake Thief. You can read it for yourself on the Epic website. I am also going to include a link for you so that you can draw a picture of a cupcake. So you can watch the video and follow the directions to see how to draw a cupcake. What is your favorite cupcake? Ms.Smith likes red velvet cupcakes. Alright, have a great day. Bye.